Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in the cage. What is lost can never be saved, right? I'm still just a rat in the cage. Day 2 post Claude Lemieux. Still having a difficult time with it, and I can't explain myself. Maybe it's the softer Ballou. Maybe it's Ballou going from the leaded, the beach to an age, the fire brewed, the cold filtered to I'll take a light, please. I got to watch the waistline. I don't know what it is. The once feared rat of Claude Lemieux. Some of those rumors, TMZ and some other crap. I don't tend to get into it. I won't get into it until we know it's true. But he did kill himself yesterday, and it's awful. The age of 60. 4 Stanley Cups for really so many people. Just a despised athlete. I mean, the word hate applies with Claude Lemieux. I'm not going to go through it again. I'll just remind you that, in my opinion, what a badge of honor to be so disliked by opponents and fans. Yet if he's yours, you love him. There's only a couple of people like that right now. Heck, maybe we're going to have something, maybe that'll be Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter if you're going to pick sides. It's smack dab in the middle of New York City. I've always been amazed. You got to apologize for introducing the president, but you don't have to apologize for beating up a woman. Let you figure out the rest of that. Let's move on. We got much more important things to do right here on this Friday edition. We're on the cusp of June 1st. Such a big day, or at least they tell me it once was, right? June 1st cuts, who's coming, who's going, who's coming. And I don't have a grasp on the brass. I'd like to sit here today and tell you, okay, here's what's going to take place. Hunter Long's gone. Chuma Edoga's gone. And then you're waiting for a big splash, right? Is it going to be Eric Armstead? Is it going to be Ezra Cleveland? Are they in a situation right now where they can look at a young gun and they can say, when you point towards Pegron or Pregnon or Wyatt Milam and say, let's just plug him in, or who knows? Cole Van Lannon, if he gets healthy, plug him in at right guard, play Walker a little back over left. I don't know. I mean, listen, you talk about odds and you talk about a difficult wager. Try projecting the offensive front five right now as to what it's going to be on opening day here against Cleveland. And I gather that you would receive a tremendous amount of uncertainty and really different results when it's all said and done. But here's what I mean when it comes to June 1st, and I don't know what to expect. I mean, just look what happened a year ago. All right? I was surprised they cut Evan Ingram. I know in this business of being a member of the media, it's not the right thing to say when it sounds like this. Oh, boy, that was a surprise. The egos get in the way, and you never want to admit that something happened and snuck by you. I didn't see it. Certainly I did with Christian Kirk, albeit I didn't see a trade within the division. Did you? Brandon Sheriff, the writing was on the wall. Still, those 3 guys, they said you're out of here. And that was over the tune of $40 million in dead cap money that went into play a year ago. Roy Robertson Harris, they moved him. I don't think anyone thinks as highly of Roy Robertson Harris, unless you are, of course, Roy Robertson Harris. To me, he was one of those guys who fit into the, you're not part of our ecosystem. We don't know if you love football. We're going to slide you out of Duval. And, of course, that was the case. Gabe Davis, one of the worst signings of all. Hey, another definition of a rat is a stool pigeon, right? Enter Trent Baalke. No one was on the horn more than him leaking information from the Miller Electric Center. Congratulations, Trent. That is one of the worst signings in the history of this franchise when you brought in Gabe Davis, for crying out loud. Gabe Davis, they were forced to eat $5.7 million. And they're still on the hook this year for Gabe. Let me pull up the dead cap money this year. Gabe's costing this football team $14.6 million. Gabe Davis did two things in Duval. He ate and he went to the bathroom. And that was it. That is all he did during his entire career in Jacksonville, Florida. So I don't know what to think. A few months ago, during the NFL draft, I mean, the criticism continues to trickle in. The quote-unquote consensus big board, James Gladstone and the Jacksonville Jaguars did not do what the draft experts said they should have done. All right? We won't know. We won't know 3 years from now. Look at all the excitement of the guys who were injured a year ago who were patiently going to wait and see if they can be contributors, maybe even difference makers in year two. You know, Caleb Ransaw, an opportunity there at safety. Certainly Travis Hunter only gave you 7 games. Much more with the young backs. There's others. Wyatt Milam last year, really beaten up. Still don't know anything at all about, and, you know, we just talked about it as far as the linebacker play, how they really didn't add. I know absolutely nothing about Jalen McLeod. One of the toughest responsibilities that I would ever have in 35 plus years of doing this would be if I did a show in another market and someone said, tell me about Jalen McLeod. I don't even know what to say. Okay? I mean, honestly, I don't. What if all of a sudden he's something in his second year out of it? I wouldn't bet on it. Okay, I wouldn't bet on anything, but you catch my point. So the consensus big board, and, you know, I haven't even gone through that yet. I guess many did right after the draft. I guess, you know, the thinking was, well, you know, Ballou I'll get to it during the dog days. There are no dog days. Okay? There is no such thing as mailing it in. There are no dog days. Even in a one-horse town, you find something to talk about. You find something to engage the listener, to bring attention to what this football team is all about. And right now, it's good, it's good, it's good, and it's good. And there's a little bit of uncertainty. There's some things we do not know. I love storylines, and there's a couple I'm going to bring up a little bit later on in the program that I don't think have been mentioned around here nearly enough. It seems like there are the standard feelings and the standard questions, and most of those apply to the offense. There's still some here defensively that makes me wonder. Primarily, it's a very good defense when it comes to pressuring quarterbacks. Why can't they sack the quarterback? Even at the season-ending presser, James Gladstone told us that in their analysis, pressure on the quarterback, getting a push, creating havoc is typically looked at more by pressures as opposed to sacks. This team's top 5 in pressures. They just can't get home. Doesn't have to change, doesn't it have to, if they're going to be a perennial January football team? So that's just one. Something else I'm going to get into a little bit later on in the program. I think grab the steering wheel with both hands here, because I mean it. You know what it's time for this year? Trevor Lawrence, passer rating of over 100. There were 9 guys who did it in the NFL a year ago. 9. There were a couple of others at 99 and some change. You look at what Trevor Lawrence did in the first 8 games last year, and it was not good. It was even hovering towards bad. You look at his last from week 10 through the wild card, 184 for 297, 2,374 yards, 23 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, had a passer rating of 101.6. Seems like the chatter on him is gone right now, and that's good. That's good. I mean, last year at this time, that was all the rage, remember? This year, it's gone. It's like he proved to Jags fans that, yeah, okay, with the right coaching, with the right play calling, with the right personnel around him, this guy can really take off. Well, there are a few issues, obviously, with Trevor. They still don't start as fast as they need to. It's certainly better than the Doug Peterson, Press Taylor regime, where the offense was in a freaking coma every single Sunday at 1 o'clock. I mean, it was one of the most frustrating things, I'm sure, for you Jaguars fans that you've ever seen. There were times where the defense would go 3 and out. There would be times where the defense would bend a little bit, maybe force a punt, maybe settle for a field goal. It didn't matter. You knew whether you are sitting in the first or second row or whether you had your elbows buried into the local bar. You knew that Jacksonville at 1 o'clock offensively was coming out and what was going to happen. 1, 2, 3 and out. I mean, it was a written guarantee on offense. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out every single week. So they've improved in that aspect. Absolutely. Still needs to get better. Just like third down needs to get better. Just like red zone needs to get better. Just like running the football needs to get better. Just like the screen game needs to get better. Just like the deep ball needs to get better. I mean, look at all of these areas where they can honestly improve. And we're talking about a team that already went up by 2 possessions when it comes to points scored a game. 9.1 a season ago. Highest in franchise history. Yet I think this is a team that can score more than 30 a game. I really believe that. So how's Trevor going to get over 100 as far as a passer? Well, I'll give you one hint. Catch the football. Trevor Lawrence has thrown the most drop passes since 2021, 153. That is tops in the NFL. We even saw the amazing, Jacoby Myers let a ball slip back during practice on Tuesday. But, yeah, that needs to get better as well. So, June 1st cuts. Who knows? Honestly. I mean, do you say to Ezra Cleveland, thanks, but you haven't necessarily been 100% the last couple of years, although I think some will say he was the best offensive lineman, consistently wise, in 2025. Do you get another year out of him? Okay? Or do you recoup $9.2 million and eat only $2.2 million now that June 1st is in order and you have the salary cap structure change as far as money that you can save and money that is applied, dead money. It's a fascinating set of circumstances. The other obvious one is Eric Armstead. I say right now, no, okay, because they just don't have enough bodies at defensive tackle. The great unknown is this. What are the other 31 teams going to do? Yeah, everyone has their board. Everyone has their list. And I'm sure they have ideas of what they think around the league who could possibly be a cap casualty next week. If there is a player that is let go that they think is better than one of the players that I just mentioned, and you can get at a cheaper price, yeah, you make that move. Right now, though, I don't see it. So we're going to go through this a little bit later on. Eric Murray's the guy who's been rumored. To me, that makes no sense. You only save $426,000. And he made a big play yesterday. I think we'd all agree this is the final year for Eric Murray. But you're talking about a very, 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 very young secondary, particularly at safety, with untested players. Antonio Johnson coming off a career year, but that doesn't make, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of sense. But nonetheless, we're going to dive into that today and really have a great deal of things to talk about here with this football team. Very, very, very excited for Monday. That's going to be a blast. Get on out there and watch them work. Once again, it'll be a phenomenal way to get the week started over at the Miller Electric Center on Monday. But first things first, we have the weekend. And what are you doing, Ballou? You already calling it a show? I mean, for crying out loud, you're only 15 minutes in. We got a ton to do right here on this Friday edition. Want to learn more about the antitrust and really the just awful situation that is college football? You want to laugh, maybe cry? Go to a website that covers every sport, pull up college football, and look at the 7 or 8 headlines. Look at the stories in college football, man. And it's like you need to have a law degree to try to figure out this stuff. There's nothing in there about competition at quarterback or can this team make a run or who's this year's Indiana. No, there's none of that. It's antitrust. It's 16 or 24 college teams. It's Georgia breaking away from everyone, living on their own. I mean, it's really scary, and something has to change sooner than later. So we're going to check in with Rick Alexander a little bit later on the program as well. All right, let's get things started with Shmunez Vision. If you do not have great eyes, that's common, okay? I keep on telling you about the good folks at Shmunez Vision because I believe in them, all right? And I also believe in this, that you put off your eyesight unlike you do any other part of your body that may be acting up. Just think about how cool it would be to have laser eye surgery. Never have to deal with contacts again. Never have to look around the house for your readers. Just have 20/20 vision for the rest of your day. Very affordable. Now, the same individuals, Dr. Neo Shmunez, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, Dr. John Hunt, they have more than 37 years worth of experience when it comes to surgery. They're going to give you the examination. They're going to answer all your questions. And then they're going to perform surgery, okay? That is the way they work. That is why they are so respected right here in Jacksonville. Check them out online at Shmunez Vision. Also, you can go to Instagram and get the very latest at Shmunez Vision.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
I took a long, hard look at myself. You know what I saw?
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
What?
They are The Drill.
I'm a babe magnet. I'm catnip.
Mornings on 1010XL.
An accident with a big truck can change everything in a matter of seconds. Medical bills start piling up, you're missing work, and the trucking company's lawyers, they get to work immediately. That's why you need a law firm that moves just as fast. I'm Chris Campione, and at Campione Law, we fight for truck accident victims, digging into the details and holding negligent drivers and their trucking companies accountable. We don't get paid unless you do. Big trucks have big lawyers. You need a stronger fighter. Campione Law. Visit CampioneLaw.com. Offices, Jacksonville and St. Augustine.
Campione Law. Money pages in your mailbox right now.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Money pages in your mailbox right now.
Tune up the off-season with AA Automotives. 1010XL takes you to practice. Follow 1010XL's coverage of organized team activities. Nailed down by Cash Building Material and Dexafit Jacksonville.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
I just got another NBA offer from Hard Rock Bet.
A Hard Rock Bet promo at the Hard Rock Bet Party? That is so meta.
That's not meta. That's Meta World Peace. Meta. Tell them about Hard Rock Bet.
Hard Rock Bet has it all. Live odds for every NBA game, every player prop, same game parlays, you name it. It's the only place I play these days.
Okay, now that is meta.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Your AC's broke. It ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Beard's Diamonds is where Jacksonville shops for engagement rings and fine diamond jewelry. And now, luxury pre-owned Rolex watches too. Hick in here for my friends at Beard's Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center. They stand out in a big way. They're local. The owners, the Lupos, they're part of our community for more than 40 years. Money spent at Beard's, it doesn't go to Wall Street. It stays right here. And here's the best part. You don't compromise on anything. Beard's has the best selection of diamonds in Northeast Florida, hand down. Beard's doesn't have to jack up prices to meet a corporate bottom line. Beard's doesn't have commissioned salespeople. They have trusted advisors. Beard's has all the top names in bridal jewelry like Decoria and Veragio. Beard's guarantees to give you a better price, a better value, period. Listen, a lot of those chain jewelry stores are all owned by the same mega conglomerate. Different names, but they're all the same owner. Not Beard's. They're your locally owned alternative. Beholden to the people of Jacksonville. Us, not Wall Street. For diamonds, bands, rings, and even luxury pre-owned Rolex. Shop local. Shop Beard's.
Yo, what's happening, folks? It's your main man, E to the T here. And are you craving scratch-made food, ice-cold 29-degree beer, and every game on wall-to-wall TVs? Head over to Twin Peaks, your ultimate sports lodge.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Is a vampire sent to drain.
Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, when it's 8 o'clock, hopefully it's a good weekend. They tell me it's going to rain. And, if you're a homeowner, you're going to say you need it because of the lawn. Glad I got my lawn cut today, right before the rain did come through the bubble. That is Bartram Springs. So I'll tell you, Phillips Highway on the way here, my goodness, it was raining sideways. No doubt about it. All right, tonight's show brought to you by the Alexander Law Practice. We're actually going to bring in Rick Alexander in about 12 minutes and talk about what is going on as far as antitrust and, can we come to some sort of an agreement in the world of what is going on in college football, really collegiate sports as a whole, but I think most of the attention around here is on college football. So we're going to dive into that coming up in a little bit. But let me tell you, I was driving and I see all these people in this rain, they just throw on the hazards, right? And there's still some knuckleheads out there that are passing and going left and right and not putting on a blinker. And again, you find yourself that nowadays you must be a defensive driver. I think that's safe. If you have been injured in a vehicle accident, okay, and you don't know what to do. You're scared to call a law firm because you think it's going to cost me way too much money. All right, let's get that out of the way for starters. There's absolutely no retainer fee at the Alexander Law Practice. No consultation fee. You're not going to be billed for the phone call. You're not going to be billed if you get to them on their website at Alexander Law Practice. And then you talk directly with Rick Alexander. All right? He works with every single one of his clients because he's old school. And that's the way he wants to do it. He's been doing it for well more than 30 years. So explain to Rick what happened. Your car's totaled, you're physically beaten up, and you're alone, and you do not know what to do. Well, I'll tell you what you need to do. Go to Alexander Law Practice, okay? Set up a consultation today. Again, everything is free. You are never going to come out of pocket. JJ is here. What's going on, man? How's the wife?
She's great. Not too much going on.
I asked you that 2 days ago, but it's been 48 hours.
Yeah,
and
she's the same.
When you're deeply pregnant, things can change in 40 hours.
I
48
hope
hours.
nothing's changed, honestly.
Yeah. All right. So still, you're hoping by what, mid-June?
Early, or like first week of July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the best there. And you said she's doing well, so that's all that really does matter. Enough balls to go around. I love this because I'm just trying to remember in the years that I've been here, even going back to the mid 90s when I was on the ball, that has never been a conversation piece. As great as the Jaguars were, as soon as things got started, really in year two, if you go to 1996, realize Mark Brunell never threw for more than 20 touchdown passes in a season. Okay. Now, he should be surrounded by 3 Hall of Famers. Baselli is in, Taylor and Smith are not. It's only a matter of time, I believe, until they both get in there. Keenan McCardell was the guy who would tell you there was clearly not enough balls to go around because Keenan McCardell never once in his life ran a route where he will tell you he was not open. And I love Keenan McCardell. I absolutely do. And, I honestly, nothing against what is currently going on, but I still wish that he was the wide receivers coach. I mean, Edgar Bennett, I went to Florida State the same years as Edgar Bennett. I love him. Edgar Bennett obviously was a running back. He was a fullback. He was a big back. He played running back in the NFL, but he's the wide receivers coach here. And he did a really good job last year. I mean, no complaints. Look at, what happened with Parker Washington. Look what happened with Jacoby Myers. Others may say, what are you talking about, Ballou? Look what happened with Brian Thomas Jr. Okay, well, that's fair. But I think we believe that there was more than just that. But anyway, Keenan would play that role. I'm open. But just really think about what's in play here. They just paid Myers $20 million a year. He's going to get his. Brian Thomas Jr. has so much to prove, and his route tree is going to be fascinating. Is he simply going to be a go guy? Is he simply going to be a deep guy? Or does he go back to what he did primarily with Mac Jones second half of his rookie season where he caught football after football after football? Wasn't it opening day where Thomas caught like 4 balls in the first half and then didn't catch another football the rest of the game, wasn't even targeted the rest of the game? And I know there's been a little bit of that they're not on the same page, Trevor and Brian Thomas Jr., and that there's a lack of cohesion and chemistry there. That was really obvious last year during training camp. You can add Diami Brown to it. Looks like Brown, Hunter, and Parker were on the same page with Trevor Lawrence. And, consider that. Hunter was brand new. Brown was brand new. And it didn't feel that way with Brian Thomas Jr. But they've been working out all off season. And Trevor spoke on it just the other day. Liam Cohen spoke on it just the other day. And then you had Parker Washington, who, I got to believe right now this is an antsy time for him. He's been an undervalued guy his entire career. 6th round pick, always kind of but I mean, listen, I remember so much. And I bet I can't get one of you to admit it right now. But last year at this time, you were talking about trading Parker Washington. You were talking about maybe getting a 6th round pick. And it was even before this. It was a year ago, prior to the NFL draft. He's going to get paid, but I got to believe he's a little antsy right now. He's probably wondering, when's this thing gonna get done? He deserves to get it done. But is there going to be enough footballs for those 3? And then Brenton Strange. Because on top of that, you talk about how they really want to be able to run the football as a team more consistently than they did this past year. And that is a strength with Liam Cohen. I also think throwing the ball out of the backfield is something they're going to do much more of next year. If you look at what happened with Travis Etienne, he only caught 36 balls. Okay? I mean, I thought he was going to catch easily over 50, maybe over 60. Tootin only caught 10 balls. Allen only caught 10 balls. Remember, Allen was on the field most of the time on 3rd down. It was not Etienne. And as a football team, Jacksonville attempted 563 pass attempts. They ran the football Let's see here. They ran the football 489 times. That's actually a better ratio than they've had in quite some time. That 2018 year, I want to say it was 527, 527. They were exactly 50%. 50% pass, 50% run. And you don't see a lot of teams that are able to do that. I envision that that's what Liam Cohen and this offense would like to do. So it really begs the question, is there enough footballs to go around to keep all of these players happy? To me, that's a great thing. Just talked about how this team has led the NFL in drop passes since 2021. Well, if you want yours, if you want to eat, hang on to the damn football, right? But anyway, this is going to be a conversation piece that we're going to spend a lot of time on coming up in the next several weeks into training camp, which will be here before you know it. All right, 2 ways for you to join us. Anything on the Jags is good because the next time I talk to you will be Monday after yet another OTA over at the Miller Electric Center. You could send us your thoughts, 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also on YouTube tonight, go to 1010XL into the night. Much more to do, including what is going on in college football. We'll talk with my friend Rick Alexander. He will share with us what is happening to the great sport of college football.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Higgins' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hacker here for Cornerstone Interior Solutions. If your AC is working overtime every summer, your insulation may be the problem. Homeowners and builders across Northeast Florida are calling Cornerstone to upgrade to spray foam insulation. It seals homes, crawl spaces, garages, blocking in cool air and blocking out heat. So your home stays cooler, your system runs easier, and your energy bills stay under control. Don't wait for peak heat. Visit CornerstoneInteriorSolutions.com.
Preparation for the season begins now. 1010XL's coverage of this year's organized team activities is brought to you by Cash Building Material, Windows Done Right, and Dexafit Jacksonville. Know your body, transform your life.
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball at the newly renovated ViStar Ballpark is your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game and kids around the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. Affordable family fun.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it work.
Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Well, it's good to have you with us. 6:36 right here on your home with the Jags. Much to do up until 8 o'clock. Let's pause for a few on Jaguars talk. We'll get back there momentarily, but let's try to figure out what the heck is going on in the world of college football. Let's bring in my buddy Rick Alexander. Of course, he is with the Alexander Law Practice. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
It's good to have you back. I'm doing great, and I wanted to bring you in because I think it's so wordy when you dive into these stories. And again, I think for the meat and potato college football fans, they have an idea of what they want. But when they start to hear senators talk and lawyers talk, there's instant confusion. So let's begin with some obvious questions. The answers maybe not as obvious. What is the antitrust law?
Okay, so antitrust comes up in American history. You may remember this. Back in the late 1800s, capitalism had expanded to a point where one big company could take over an entire industry.
Mm-hmm.
And really unrestricted capitalism eats itself, and then they could, have any price they want. It kills supply and demand. So the progressives around the turn of the century, the 20th century, instituted and passed a series of laws, the antitrust acts, like the Sherman antitrust law, and they basically prevent monopolies. So antitrust is sort of an anti-monopoly law.
Okay. How does this affect sports?
Well, if you think about it, sports are kind of monopolies, right? Major League Baseball famously has an exclusion from the antitrust laws. But the NFL, NBA, the big sports leagues, now they've had competition, but they are unique bodies. And so antitrust, and this came up specifically in college sports recently when former students brought cases against the NCAA saying you can't control us, we're getting paid. Or we need to be getting paid because we're creating all this money for the universities. And the United States Supreme Court said, you're right. And so that's kind of thrown us into this chaos that we're in.
All right, about 48 hours ago, a bipartisan agreement was reached. I think it was Ted Cruz, a Republican, and a Democrat.
Maria Cantwell.
Out of D.C. Yeah, so they've agreed on a whole heck of a lot of things that they believe should be put into order. But realistically, where is this in the importance with such a diverse country that we're in right now? There are so many subjects that need to be handled. I mean, for sports fans are like, let's get this solved. But in the long list of things, where does this come into play?
Right. So it just tells you what big business college sports are. And, in particular football, but basketball. And as President Trump has pointed out and others, that many of our Olympic athletes come out of the college system. So it's something that everybody wants to fix. And there's a general consensus that what we're doing now isn't working. It's changed things dramatically and in a way many people don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And so these two senators have come to an agreement. It's got some co-sponsors, so it probably has a groundswell of support in the Senate. But to get to your point, you're talking about all the words. This is an 111-page bill, and the devil is in the details.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But we can talk here about some of the main things that this is, and so to say they've come to an agreement, they're announcing it. Now they've got to collect all the votes, and once they get the votes, then they're going to send it over to the House, and the House has to pass it. And, there's a lot more divergent and more extreme views in the House because there's the smaller districts. and they have to approve it, and then it's got to go to the president. So we're a long way from getting it through. The good news is a lot of people want to fix a lot, and there's a general consensus on a lot of things, but I'll let you know where we are. So the big thing that will be disputed by some of the leagues is there should be no super league, and that's decided by whether you make $1 billion in revenue a year on your sports, and there are two leagues that do that.
Let me guess.
Right.
The Big Ten and the SEC.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they're not nearly as wild about this particular passage or this clause as some of the other conferences, which I think, this is great. We're all on board. One of the things that I think a lot of people like is it creates an agent registry for agents if you're going to represent a college football player, and it limits your fees to 5%. So you have to be in there. They have this thing which I have now dubbed the Lane Kiffin rule.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you can't quit on your team until the season is over.
Okay.
It's got what Cantwell described as historic protections for players to get paid. It's got a transfer rule, one player transfer you get a free transfer. And then if you do that again, you have to sit out a season, which is kind of the old way.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And then there are exceptions, like if your coach leaves or if, they cancel your program, you can transfer. I'm like, well, yeah, that should be obvious, right? But they put that in there. 5 years of eligibility. And they've taken some of the things that we've been working on in the settlement with the NCAA called the House settlements. And that's where some of the antitrust protections are coming in for the NCAA and the CSC, which is what the big conferences have created to kind of manage NIL. So what has been happening is the NCAA is getting bogged down with lawsuits by individual players, and they can't manage it. And their authority has been stripped. I mean, you and I remember the NCAA was like, for most of my life, was this nightmare organization that seemed like, they cherry picked who they wanted to hit.
That was evil.
Yeah. And so now all of a sudden they've got no power.
Right.
And now we're trying to give them more power. Everybody's like, wait a minute, do we want to do that again?
Yeah.
But somebody's got to govern this. And so the antitrust legislation will help, and giving them an exclusion from that will help them and allow them to manage and govern and enforce rules that aren't being enforced.
Yeah, if you remember, I guess it was about 6 weeks or so ago, President Trump can't force the NCAA to do anything, but he was under the impression that the NCAA would agree with what he put together. Rick Alexander's our guest. He's with the Alexander Law Practice. It is a mess nowadays in the world of collegiate athletics. Kirby Smart. Now, I love this because to me, football coaches are football coaches, but Kirby Smart comes out, and it was basically about the 16 and 24 team college football playoff. Yeah. Where are we going? And he's like, well, if we all can't agree, we'll just leave. We'll just get up and form our own deal. So how does this come into play with everything that's happening?
Right. Well, that could be gamesmanship to some extent, but they've obviously looked at this, and they feel like they've had the rug pulled out from under them. Because they've gone to the 9 games. They wanted the 16 game.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Big Ten and everybody's saying, let's do 24. And they're like, wait a minute. 16 is what we want. We don't agree.
Right.
And, this new bipartisan agreement, one of the other things is you can enter at 75%. I believe it's 75% of the colleges agree. There can be pooling of media contracts. So, the Big Ten and the SEC have their own, right? They have their network. And, we have Saturday college football with the SEC. You got the Big Ten, and they're both they're like working together indirectly to try to expand their league. And it's better for all of their member institutions. And their focus is on, no, we've got it good, and we want to keep it that way. We don't agree to pooling of the media.
Right. So let's wrap with this. The SEC and the Big Ten do not like this bipartisan bill that was just agreed upon.
Right.
Again, it's got to pass, but agreed upon at this point. What are the chances of this bill passing, and what are the chances of the Big Ten and the SEC saying, well, then forget about it, we're going out? on our own?
Well, I think that those two conferences are basically taking a negotiating position. And of course, I think they would like a lot of these things that I just talked about. Yeah, they'd be agreement on like the 5-year and whatnot. Their objection is going to be, and I believe the bigger objection is going to be the media pooling. They're like, no, we're not going to agree to that. And they've got a lot of Congress people in the South and in the Midwest who have to be persuaded, many of whom went to these institutions like the University of Illinois or Minnesota or Florida. But, you know, there's states like Florida. We have the University of Florida and the SEC, but Miami and FSU are not. No. And they would stand to benefit from this. So where do the senators come down? They'll be lobbying either way.
Wow.
And so it involves lots and lots of money.
It's going to take, what's this going to take? 18 months, 2 years?
Yeah, I think it is going to take, this is the opening salvo, right? Like we'll see. And what I expect is there'll be lots and lots of lobbying on all sides. And what we see now is a basic framework, but some of those provisions could change.
Talked about paying these football players forever, man. The NCAA, they really screwed up. We could go back 30 years ago, and you could have paid the 85 scholarship kids $1,000 or maybe $1,500 a month, and we would never be in. We didn't even bring up the salary cap for crying out loud. We would never be in this situation.
You couldn't give them a T-shirt. You couldn't take them out to Western Sizzlin' for dinner. Those crazy rules.
Rick, always a lot of fun to see you, Rick. Thanks for coming on today.
My pleasure.
Rick Alexander. He is with the Alexander Law Practice. All right, you want to react to that? By all means. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
If you like the heat, we are always bringing it. 1010 XL.
Some like it hot, some like it cold.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
Hey, poker players, let's ride to the riches. Best Bet St. Augustine is giving away a brand new all-terrain side-by-side vehicle and cash prizes during the Ride to the Riches promotion. From May 1st through August 7th, every hour of poker and table games played at Best Bet St. Augustine earns you a chance to win over $40,000 in cash and prizes, including a top-of-the-line side-by-side all-terrain vehicle. Visit bestbetjacks.com for details. That's bestbetjacks.com, and we'll see you in St. Augustine.
When you're craving scratch-made food, 29-degree draft beer, and the best seat in the house for every game, there's only one place to go, Twin Peaks. E.T. here, and from juicy burgers and smoked in-house wings to ice-cold brews served by the friendliest team around, Twin Peaks is the ultimate sports lodge. Wall-to-wall TVs everywhere. You'll never miss a moment. So grab your crew and head over to Twin Peaks, where the views are impeccable and the food hits every time. And the beer is always colder than your ex's heart. Twin Peaks. Eat, drink, scenic views.
Looking for ways to save on your JEA bill? We're on it. When it comes to your utilities, the less you use, the more you can save. That's why JEA offers ways to help you manage your usage and avoid higher than expected bills. Use our online tools to monitor your usage throughout the month. Schedule a free irrigation or energy efficiency assessment and get personalized tips to save. And with JEA rebates, you can save when upgrading to more efficient equipment. Find more ways to save at JEA.com.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, and HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
Hey friends, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Have you ever stored a gallon of leftover paint, opened the can years later, and it's rusty, crusty, and unusable? Next time, secure the lid tightly to ensure no leaks and store the can upside down. Oxygen can't get to it, therefore no rust and no crust. If you'd like more tips or have a question about a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
What the hell's Julio doing down at the schoolyard, by the way? Nowadays, that's... Is this just Paul Simon or is this Simon and Garfunkel?
I'll look it up. I think it's just Paul Simon.
Yeah. Nowadays, you'd be criticized for writing about that. Kind of like Stevie Nicks. She was just 17, or he was just 17. Hey, thank you to Rick Alexander. Great stuff, Alexander Law Practice. That story's not going to go away, and there'll be more and more and more that'll be added to that, and we'll do our best to keep you updated. I know how frustrating it's got to be for college football fans. First of all, I miss the old days where you knew guys were getting paid, but it was always the wink, wink. And, hey, look what showed up in Mom's driveway. It's a brand new washer and dryer. Things I love those old tale stories. But, think about that, JJ. If 25 years ago, you just paid these guys $1,000 a month in season, $1,500 a month, I'm not naive enough to not think that they would have eventually, especially the stars, asked for more. But it would have eliminated so many of these problems if they just paid them a small stipend.
You think right now that they'd be fine, they'd be content with just a small stipend?
I'm talking about going back 25 years ago. Okay, when it first started coming out, should you pay these athletes? Should you pay these football players? You give all 85 scholarship players $1,000 a month in season.
Well, I thought they already got that. I thought they already had some type of I'm pretty sure they already got a something from the university that was like a check.
Well, it was
for food or whatever, but
yeah.
It was for you to do anything with. They already got a stipend that was small.
Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about the NCAA allowing them, to make money.
Well, yeah, this whole NIL thing was supposed to be that it's turned into a complete pay for play. It started out as like, oh, now we're gonna let these guys, be a spokesman for whatever company, and they can make money on their own like that. That's what NIL was originally supposed to be, which is you can use your name, image, and likeness to make money. It took less than one season for it to just become, hey, we're paying you to come play here. So it jumped the shark immediately of what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, we didn't even get into the salary cap and what's going to come in as far as that is concerned. But I don't think they're ever going to be able to have a middle ground here where you can say to the Big 12 and the ACC, it's going to be the same rules as the SEC and the Big 10. In a perfect world, that would be it. But it's definitely not a perfect world right now. And this bipartisan bill, I tried to read it. It's very thorough. It's somewhat, actually, it's very, very complex. No doubt about it. I love this. I'm talking about this right now, and I get this. Who is the projected starters on the defensive line that just came right out? I love it. So I know you want to get back to Jag stuff. I'm looking at a bunch of Jag stuff here on the text line. I'll also get in quite a few stuff on this as well. Involved from the conversation that we just had with the antitrust and what is going to actually take place in the future of college football. It's only collegiate sports, but in my opinion, this basically settles right here with college football. All right, so let's get to our second hour. I do want to get back to what I hinted around early on with the Jaguars. I think that it's going to be fascinating to see quite a few different things that are going to happen this year. And we'll get to that beginning at 7 o'clock.
the team that loves the team you love.
They came together as a team.
1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione. Campione Law.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Every flag has a story, and this is more than a tournament. I'm JJ LaSelva from The Frangie Show. Get tuned up for the World Cup on the 1010XL Soccer Show podcast with a real man's view of the beautiful game and analysis of Team USA. Assisted by Twin Peaks.
Whether you're undertaking a major home renovation or just a simple repair request, American Electrical is your 5-star Jacksonville-based electrician to get the work done right. Experienced design building department working seamlessly with their electrical contracting department to help you create beautiful lighting spaces and electrical plans that make your house flow. And remember, with American Electrical, it's wired right at a fair price. Call American Electric at 737-7770. Look for that red, white, and blue eagle on the side of their truck, and you'll know it's American Electrical.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Summer's almost here, and that means it's grilling season. Before you overpay at the big box stores, make a stop at Houston's Meat Company on Main Street and 295. For more than 50 years, Houston's has been Jacksonville's local butcher shop, serving up quality meat, incredible prices, and the kind of service you just can't find at a grocery chain. Steaks, burgers, chicken, ribs, whatever's on the grill this weekend, Houston's has you covered. Shop local, grill better. Make Houston's Meat Company part of your weekend tradition.
What if your next fun day out costs just $70 to play all day? That's exactly what you get at the Battalion Airsoft Arena, the only indoor airsoft battlefield in Jacks. Skip the same old boring entertainment choices and step into real action with your crew. Perfect for birthdays, company team building, graduation parties, or just epic weekend fun. No experience? No problem. The Battalion package includes everything: gun, mask, and ammo with unlimited play. So lock in your mission now at BattalionAirsoftArena.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Hey, it's Greg. So I'm 3 weeks into Awaken 180 now, and I'm already down over 18 pounds. 18 pounds in 3 weeks. It's funny, I kept waiting for the part where this felt like one of those sad desk salads. 3 leaves, a tomato, and regret. But it hasn't. I'm eating its food I actually like. And now my sons are coming over and saying, hey, let me try that. And that's been a surprise. I thought Awaken 180 was kind of going to feel a little bit like punishment, but it doesn't one bit. I've got my coach Mandy helping me stay locked in, making adjustments, and keeping me from doing what I always did before. No pills, no injections, no fluff, just a simple plan I can actually follow and stick with. I kept saying, I'll do it next month, then next month. But then 3 weeks ago, I finally shut up and got started. Hacker, Matt, Mike, Amber, they all told me Awaken 180 works. And honestly, it's been even better than they said. So what are you waiting for? Do what I did. Call 844-346-1800 or go to awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
That it would be untrue.
One of Florida State's finest right here.
I would be a liar
He lasted a year. Got booted out of there for cooler Seminoles like Richard Simmons. You know, some will tell you that Jim Morrison's first ever arrest was at a Florida State football game where he was making fun of Florida State football players. You can do that nowadays. It'll just cost you about $7,000 to go to a game, but enjoy your lazy boy seats over at the Doak. Okay, I heard back from Rick Alexander, who was listening to our conversation, said you're correct that a stipend of a small amount of money for food, but that's a recent trend. When you and I were in school, they didn't get anything. I remember Spurrier lobbying really hard to let them get paid, dinner money, things like that. Yeah, I remember a couple of things. Number one, I remember talking with Bobby Bowden that you could have a rainstorm and you weren't even allowed to, in your vehicle, pick up one of your players if he was walking on the street. Okay? This is how evil the NCAA is. And, when I was going to school there, I wasn't much older. When I started in the media there, I wasn't much older than the players. And I remember one night at AJ Sports, I was out there and, having some beers, and Todd Fordham was there. God, I can't believe I'm going to say the late Chad Bates. Ah, that's awful. Chad passed probably 2 years ago. That's just, that's awful. It really is. And I think Kevin Long, anyway, but AJ's didn't serve food, and I ordered a pizza, and I was, and I remember they were taking some slices, and I remember joking. I was like, oh, that's an NCAA violation. And he looked at me, gave me kind of like that dog turn of the head, like, you're not serious here, are you? And of course, I was anything but I made him stop, and like halfway through his pizza because I was being a smartass and I said something like that. But during that era in the mid 90s, man, you couldn't get away with anything. So here we are today where you can basically do whatever the heck you want outside of bet on football games. You see this story that's out now with Sorsby? He bet on as many as 40 games, is a report.
$90,000. Using somebody in his family's account. So at first he lied and was like, yeah, I bet on one game when I was at IU. Exactly. And it was because I wanted to feel closer to the team. Well, it didn't take too much investigating to find out that was BS.
I watch a ton of true crime stuff, but whether it's not against the law, just, against marriage vows, and you get the Mike Vrabel and you get the Diana Rossini, or you get the stuff like this. Lying is one thing, but consistently lying is another. You're gonna get caught. That's what absolutely
I guess he had nothing to lose in this situation. Like, if you get caught lying, then they already know that you bet all this and you're not allowed back anyways. So I might as well lie and try to get myself back. Maybe they won't find out. But I think the supplemental draft is in like 3 weeks or something like that.
So he's been diagnosed with a gambling.
I'm sure.
Well,
I'm sure you can get anyone to diagnose you for whatever you need.
Tell me if you've ever heard this in the same sentence before, okay? Sorsby has been diagnosed with a gambling and anxiety disorder.
Whoa.
I mean,
just both.
I'm not laughing about an anxiety disorder. I mean, but how do you put that right next to gambling in the same, like, because he has an anxiety disorder, it's all right for him to gamble on a game?
This was like when Usher got caught cheating on his girl, and they're like, oh, he has a sex addiction.
Oh, yeah, that's been out forever.
Classic.
You can go back to Wade Boggs.
So I'm not
Margot
saying
Adams.
that people. Who is it? Wade Boggs and who?
Margot Adams. Remember he had his girl on the road forever?
I didn't know that. So she would have to follow him like she
No,
didn't
she didn't have to follow. Wade flew her out. I mean,
I see. Because of his addiction.
He was a sex addict.
I'm not of course, I'm not saying that there aren't gambling addicts out there. Of course there are. I'm not an idiot.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But I just find it very easy for him to be like, oh, I'm an addict, and that's why I bet on these games. So feel sorry for me and let me back in. It's just it works out perfectly that way.
The gambling and anxiety disorder in the same sense, that'd be like going back to Wade Boggs saying, Wade Boggs is a sex addict, and he also eats only chicken. Okay, he has 23 different chicken dishes. He won't eat anything else. That's the deal with Wade Boggs. He doesn't eat anything except for chicken.
A sex addict.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, this is
he's done. He's going to be playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
What the question for me is, will the NFL have a suspension for him once he gets to the league? Like, because they don't have to, but it would just their partnership with the NCAA. I would assume that they're going to do something once he gets into the league.
We haven't had, I'm trying to remember, who's the last player selected in the supplemental draft?
I think 2019.
And that's been a while. And I tell you the sad part of this is a lot of people out there believe Texas Tech could have been this year's Indiana. A team that was probably going to be ranked preseason in the top 10, an opportunity to really make a run this year. And, I'm not saying they still don't have a stable full of guys that can come on in, but, Brendan Sorsby, he was going to be a preseason Heisman candidate. And
yeah, he was one of the highest paid guys coming out of the portal from Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. So it was 2019, Jalen Thompson, a safety from Washington State, the last guy we've had taken in the supplemental draft.
Wow.
So 7 years? I don't even know how it works. Like, who gets the pick?
Steve Walsh come out in the supplemental draft?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
2 Miami quarterbacks.
Did Kozar?
Yes.
Or was it? No, Vinny was number 1 in that era. It wasn't Craig Erickson.
Was in 1989, and that was because Leon told me it was because he wanted the OC to be the coach that took over after Jimmy left, but instead they got what's his name? Erickson, and he got pissed about that and left in spring after you had to be eligible or declare, and so he was picked in the supplemental draft as opposed to the real draft. Brian Bosworth, 1987. He got in trouble for drugs, obviously, and yes, Bernie Kosar, 1985, after he graduated after his junior year.
Oh.
So it used to be pretty common in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it just doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, yeah, it used to be a big deal. Just like these June 1st cuts used to be a big deal. They aren't necessarily, and I'm going to get there in just one moment. Hey, let me tell you this. Coming up on Monday, just for those of you who are wondering, the Jaguars will be at it at the Miller Electric Center from 9 until 11. Then we're going to hear from Liam Cohen at 11:05, Anthony Campanile, and Trayvon Walker. Also, some individual interviews as well. I will certainly have one. Some others here at the radio station will have some as well. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Okay, Ballou, who are the projected starters on the defensive line? Well, it's Trayvon and it's Josh Hines-Allen. That much we know. Devon Hamilton absolutely is going to be the guy inside. And I would assume that if they had a game this weekend, Eric Armstead would be, the other defensive lineman. And, we talk about Eric Armstead. This is what's really fascinating with June 1st coming up, I guess, over the weekend, or maybe it's Monday, whatever the situation may be. But we've been evaluating this really since free agency began, and then they went in to the NFL draft. I think you only say goodbye to Eric Armstead if someone else is released next week off of a roster and Jacksonville believes they can get better because it is cost effective. If they cut him, they save $14,485,000. They will eat $4.9 million in dead money. I explain this all the time, but some of you may not be aware. All the dead money is is a figure that goes against your salary cap, which is now what? Up over 300. I think it's 301, 301 million, 301.2 million is the salary cap this year. Currently, the Jaguars are $54,773,000 worth of dead money. Now, that's that. You wipe most of that off the books next year. There'll be some fresh dead money. So I think that he's going to remain on this football team. That could change only if someone is released, because you know what's really hard about this part, JJ, is, again, we're talking about a position where they don't hit. And if you start looking at Zach Durfee and you start looking at Albert Regis and you're projecting them to come on in and be players, kind of the way that you may have projected, or I projected, that Mason Smith would have been 3 years ago, and they're not ready, that's a huge risk because they don't hit in camp. So you really are going to have a difficult time identifying how they're going to be able to handle the grind and the physicality within the NFL. Now, practicing against 3 teams who they're playing in the preseason is going to help.
But that is like not until further down the road in camp. Like you would imagine at that point, all the guys that I guess could be game changers that are still out there as free agents will be taken by then. But it's impossible to know at this point. I always assumed they were going to do something depth-wise on the defensive line this offseason. They didn't. So I still think they make a move. Get one of these old vets to come in.
All right. Let's eliminate Hunter Long. Let's eliminate Chuma Edoga. For what it's worth, I think both have an opportunity in camp. There is some money here. Chuma's 2.9 that you save. You only have to eat $1 million. I still think you can never have too many offensive linemen. So unless an offensive lineman is released that they're like, well, he's better than Chuma Edoga, I kind of expect him to be around for camp. Hunter Long, same deal. He's clearly, the fifth tight end. So there's not room for him, but it really doesn't make a lot of sense to cut him. You save $1.38 million, you eat $1.37 million. So let's eliminate those two. Let's get to the big 3. This is what it's all about. It's about Armstead, it's about Eric Murray, and it's about Ezra Cleveland. Let's get straight to Eric Murray, and I'm going to eliminate him, JJ. I'll tell you why. Because you only save $426,000. You're going to eat 3.8. All right, we watched him make a phenomenal play during the OTA session earlier this week, but this is such an untested safety group that you need this veteran there for one more year. I mean, you're looking at rookies, and then you're looking at Ray Lane and Caleb Ransaw, who haven't played at all or very little, in Antonio Johnson, plus the draft pick. So I think Eric Murray's on this roster.
Absolutely. You've never seen Ransaw even practice. You don't know what you have in him. He made a good play the other day. Everybody's been talking about it. You don't save any money. You're going to keep him.
We just talked about Armstead. My opinion is he's here. Could change if they add someone cut from another roster. Not going to change based on these draft picks because, again, there's not enough that you can get done in the ditch when they're not hitting. Let's go to the other side, the offensive line. This is the one that is really, I don't want to say is picking up steam, but all of a sudden is being thrown around a whole heck of a lot. And that's Ezra Cleveland. We know it's the final year of his contract. If they cut him, they save $9.2 million and they only eat $2.2 million. So, if you were to re-sign Parker Washington, if you were to re-sign Brenton Strange, and I'm looking at over the cap.com, they already signed their rookies. They still have $9,569,000. And we see what does happen when you sign players. Look at the Trayvon Walker deal. They cut down on his salary cap number for this year because of the enormous bonus. The same thing would come into play here for Washington, strange, or both. So I think you'll really only need that money if you go and take a player who is released next week from another organization. I do feel like this is a possibility. I do. And I think
especially because of the money.
Yeah, I think the conversation is, can you let these two untested guys battle it out? You know, Pregnon is a guy that they are so high on. They're so high on Wyatt Milam. Are they going to say this is open competition, best man wins? Or do they feel like, okay, if it comes to a patchwork situation, and we don't know about the health of Cole Van Lannon. That's another part of this story that is really a mystery. Is he going to be ready to start the season, or is it going to be Walker Little? And, you know, I don't have an answer for you there. I don't know. But I think it's a possibility. Absolutely.
It is.
Ezra Cleveland's let go.
It is, but I don't know enough about O-line play, especially on like interior O-line play. But people say he had a good year last year.
Probably the best on the offensive line.
Yeah, so that's a huge risk if you're just trying to save some cash and sign somebody else to get rid of him.
Starting left guard making $11,420,000. That's not bad. That's cost effective. If he's going to give you 17 starts and play at the level that he did a season ago. Again, in my opinion, this team is built to win right now. Okay? My guess is in a year, okay, your offensive line is Cole Van Lannon. I'm not sure who's going to grab the guards, but it's going to be Pregnon and it's going to be Wylam at either left or right or left. You fill in the blank. I think it's Jonah Monheim in a year, and I think it's Anton Harrison. So I think that's your future offensive line. Okay? What do they have in common there? Every one of them drafted by this organization outside of Cole Van Lannon, but who's thinking about next year? Right? It's this year. Now, if you knew, and you don't, but if you knew that one of these two young guards that I keep talking about is going to come in and be sensational, then yeah, man, save $9.2 million and let the veteran Cleveland go. But you just don't know the answer to that question.
Especially when nobody's hitting.
Yeah, that's the sad part of it. I think you have a better feel. I do. I think you have
you don't have any tape on these young kids in the NFL. It's just
you don't.
It's a toss-up.
I think you have a better feel with backs and receivers and DBs and linebackers.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, corners. You do. But when you're in that ditch. The Jaguars actually, let's head to this break. Jaguars actually, because of a late preseason game on the 28th, you see, they're going to have like an extra 48 hours to evaluate their cut down to 53. So
it would be like, hey, how good do you think this painter is? And he's standing there without a brush, just in front. It's like, I don't know how that. Their entire job is to smash heads.
Yes, but based on what we know about this new organization, don't you expect something? Don't you expect to come in here next week and be like, they did this?
Wow, they got rid of Ezra.
Don't you expect something? I mean, again, I'm not afraid to admit it. I was shocked that they said goodbye to Evan Ingram a year ago. And you know what? It turns out they made the right move.
Absolutely. They knew what they had in Strange. They knew the injury proneness of Ingram, which I'm sure, didn't he get hurt last year? I mean, I don't think he had great numbers.
And they traded Kirk in the division?
And he's really didn't do much until the very end of the season.
So again, in my opinion, they were, arguably very head-scratching type of situation. They both worked out.
And they saved a lot of cash, which is to your point about
saved
Ezra.
a lot of cash and also ate a lot of cash in that dead money. Again, those three with Sheriff was $40 million they had to eat.
Sheriff.
But those were contracts that obviously were put together by Trent Baalke.
Yeah, pre-Gladstone.
All right, much more to do. Let's get to your questions on the other side.
Hey, I'm Joey Logano.
Joey Logano, he's already built a Hall of Fame career. Today, he etches his name in stone. Logano is a two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion.
And you're listening to 1010XL Jack Sports Radio.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Barry here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Bari Orthopedics today or visit bariorthopedics.com.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Life happens every day, and sometimes it gets in the way. That's why 1010XL makes it easy to listen to your favorites. If you missed it, get it on demand.
At 1010XL.com.
Channeled by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect pair for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening the whole group can enjoy? Discover the thrill of Sharks football. Fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. It's Star Wars night. Presented by HCA Florida Healthcare. Don't miss this Saturday, May 30th, as your Sharks look to continue their winning ways. Kickoff 7 o'clock and tickets start at just $15. This is the fun you've been looking for. The first 1,000 kids receive a free lightsaber. Dress up as your favorite character and get photos with members of the 501st Legion before the game. The Force is strong with this deal. Try our family 4-pack. Get 4 tickets and $50 in food or merchandise vouchers, all for only $100. Join us on field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at just $15. To get yours, call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks! Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Listening to a Leonard Skinner live track the other day and talking about Leonard Skinner and the great Leonard Skinner, and it's all the new Leonard Skinner. And I'm like, there's not even a member of the band original.
They shouldn't even be able to call themselves that. That always bothers me.
Yeah, you know, I saw Journey a few weeks ago, minus Steve Perry. They still had Neil Sean, a few other members on there. I saw last summer Foreigner, which only has Mick Taylor, or excuse me, Mick Taylor. Mick Taylor, of course, was with the Rolling Stones, pre Ronnie Wood. Mick Jones. Yeah, you got a bunch of whole new guy, and they call themselves Foreigner. Remember, not Burton Cummings, but remember we had the guy on from the Guess Who?
He was awesome.
Not Burton Cummings, but the other guy from the Guess Who, the drummer. And they were like forced to change their name. They weren't allowed to be billed any longer.
Gary Peterson.
That might have been it. It was a good interview. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to make of it. Yeah. The Leonard Skinner one's really odd, though, because there's no one from the band there originally.
Yeah,
Let's
like
go
how
figure that out.
long can you keep it going? Yeah, like when does it end?
Yeah, I saw. I'm trying to remember the Motown band. I saw it was like listed recently. I don't know if it was the Manhattans or who it was, but it was like, man, those guys have been gone since like the 70s, and they were still out there, brag. But anyway, that's maybe we need to get the NCAA involved in that. They've got nothing else
We need patent and trademark lawyers on the show.
going on. All right, not enough balls to go around. That's the conversation piece that could really light up this year with the talent on this football team. 85-33 says Blue Jacks. Parker Washington equals Seattle's Doug Baldwin. Jacksonville has many weapons now for Steezy Trev. How big was Baldwin? I think he's a Florida guy, isn't he? If I look back in the career of Doug Baldwin, let me pull this up real quick. 493 receptions, 6,563 yards.
5'10", 192.
There's a comparison. I don't think he was a return guy, though. And that's another question.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, actually, he was. 90 career punt returns for Doug Baldwin. He did it for 3 years. So he got away from it later in his career. And, I asked John Oshert about that on Wednesday night. To me, that's another part of this real equation. You're going to pay Parker Washington, somewhere in the neighborhood of 16, 17, 18, $18.5 million, no matter what it's going to be. Do you still want him returning punts? He's so good at it. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know that he had 25 punt returns a year ago, 13 fair catches, 38 attempts. Of course, he scored a couple of times. You know what I'd love to happen, and this doesn't in football, certainly at the NFL level. It does in baseball. You're up 9-0, down 9-0. You're going to take your stars out. Okay? It happens in the NBA. You're up by 25. You're down by 25. You take them out. Hockey, basically the same. It's 4 lines. Maybe your fourth line, your skating line will get more ice time. But Jacksonville, the second half of the season, man, they stretched out their opponents. They were up by a couple of possessions. And I know that is not the norm in the NFL. All you have to do is look at the point spread weekly. It's typically 7 points or less. A lot of them are 3 points or less. But if you're up by 21 and he's your punt return, take him out. Take him out in the second half. Go to someone else. And, we don't see that with quarterbacks, and I get it. We're not talking about an 85-man college football roster plus walk-ons. You're talking about a 53-man roster, which is reduced to, 46 on game day. There's not a lot of opportunity just to take a guy. This Josh Cameron situation is going to be interesting. He had a sensational career as a punt returner. Let's see. I wrote it down here the other day. 45 returns for 632 yards. Runs a 4.4. He's 6'1", 218. I did not see him during OTAs this week. I did not see him out there. I saw him working on the side during rookie minicamp going back a couple of weeks ago. Of course, he played he played his entire career at Baylor, which is rare nowadays in college football.
Is that a red flag now for a guy who only plays at one school? Has that become the new red flag?
I asked Liam about that. The Jaguars, out of their 10 drafted players, you realize 4 of them played their entire career at one school?
Oh, okay. And there might be 4 that were on at least 3 teams.
I save things not because I'm a hoarder, and not as though there's anything wrong with that, but because I think you may go back to them at some point. One thing I've always loved about this profession is that producers, and they'll hand you all these papers and all this stuff. When the show's over, it goes into the waste. I'm like, you might want to, you can use it again. You have a desk, you have an office. So I save things that, especially that are Jaguar stuff. Albert Regis, entire career at one school. All right, Texas A&M. We just talked about Cameron, entire career at Baylor. Edge, Wesley Williams, his entire career at Duke. And then you go to their final pick, the middle linebacker, who's now going to be playing, I guess, off the ball linebacker out of Middle Tennessee State, in Parker Hughes. So 4 out of the 10.
That is a red flag for me, honestly. Like a guy who played 4 years at a school like Duke in Middle Tennessee, like you couldn't get somebody to get you an offer at a bigger school.
It's a fair point.
Or maybe you did get an offer, but you didn't want to leave. It could be something like that.
It's a fair point. Now, there's always other ways to look at it. Maybe education meant something to him.
Exactly. Duke.
Maybe he had a girlfriend who was there. Maybe his family was there. I mean, I understand your way of thinking, though. Because was it Emmanuel Pregnon? He spent 3 years at Wyoming, 2 years at USC, and 1 year at Oregon.
Love it.
Guy went 5 years of college, 3 different universities. Okay, I mean,
that's average nowadays. That's par for the course.
Crazy. It would take a lot of effort to look at every draft class, look at every draft team, but I'm guessing 40% now, 4 out of 10.
That's a lot.
That may be the most.
Yeah.
Out of any team in the NFL. 21. We need to take another break, don't we?
We do.
I'm always, man, I promised on Wednesday I did such a good job about hitting breaks, and here I am. I'm excited. I'm an excitable boy, All right, I'm an excitable middle-aged man, but hitting breaks for me has always been my biggest problem.
Hot summer heat.
On that summertime ship, babe, need something to keep you cool.
Keep it cool all summer long with 1010XL, Jacksonville's cool summer station.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be a 9-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award. Trust me, I know this. I've been dealing with Nimnick forever, and they really are that good. For 3 generations, Nimnick's been the place customers keep coming back to. Customers like me, treating you right, giving the most back to our community, more choices and better prices. It's just the best place to buy cars, and I can promise you that. So who gives you the best experience when you're buying a car? Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go. Money Pages in your mailbox right now.
Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, johnautomotivejacks.com.
Step into Twin Peaks and you're in the lodge. Warm wood, roaring TVs, and the kind of energy your living room wish it was. Wings, burgers, ice-cold 29-degree beers, and a vibe that keeps you planted for the final buzzer. E.T. here for Twin Peaks. Eat, drink, scenic views.
Hey, Hicken here, folks. It's happening. It is happening. We're going fairway, lush, and green at the Hicken household for, topdressing.com. Treated my yard, and I'm telling you guys, another company cannot do what they do. They have the custom equipment, that secret mix. You can't buy it in the store. Heck, it takes a year to make. With topdressing.com, you're amending your soil, and it's thriving. Make your neighbors jealous. Get to topdressing.com today or call 888-850-1850 for your free estimate.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hicken here. Experience crystal clear vision with the Eye Associates, formerly Ballou Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, Jacksonville's leader in advanced eye care. From routine eye exams to specialized vision care, their experienced team dedicated to improving and preserving your vision. The same care you've come to trust, now with a new name. To schedule your appointment today, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Well, today's golden moment is, well, it's golden, but it's also not particularly good. But it is certainly something we talked about earlier in the program. That is Brendan Sorsby, a guy that was a preseason Heisman candidate, a guy who transferred from Cincinnati to Texas Tech. Many believe that the Red Raiders were, and still could be, in a situation where they're like Indiana of one season ago. It has now come out that he wagered approximately $90,000 in 4 years while he was at Indiana, and then continued to gamble when he went to Cincinnati. Also, this has been revealed. Sorsby has been diagnosed with a gambling and anxiety disorder and recently completed a 35-day stint in an Arizona gambling rehabilitation center. Wow, 35 days. That's got to be awful. We don't talk a lot about gambling rehabilitation, right? Talk about, obviously, Alcohol Anonymous, certainly going into rehabs for drugs, for alcohol. Out of all the stuff that asked Rabel, I don't know did we ever get a concise answer on whether or not it was marriage counseling or was he a sex addict? We still don't have the answer. That real tough media in Boston didn't get that answer. But a gambling. Now, I know around here there's a lot of clinics, there's a lot of, AA and stuff like. But are you familiar at all with a gambling rehabilitation center?
No.
Neither am I.
I mean, you just go in there and they just don't let you gamble? I'm sure there's like classes and all that stuff, but no, I've never heard of that.
So you walk in,
you detox.
You meet the counselor, you're like, I'm here because I gamble too much. The counselor is going to look at you and say, here's the deal. I bet when you're done with this, you won't bet anymore. No
games on here. No games, no cards, no dice, nothing. No coins.
Tell you, when I was a bartender, I watched a guy destroy his life gambling.
Oh, dude, it's super serious.
Destroy his life. His marriage, his job, everything. And we just witnessed it over probably a 18-month period, and I didn't do it
fast.
But he would have some others that I knew at the bar actually make the wagers for him, and he would pay him because they would no longer take his bets.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real serious deal. Addiction. My toughest addiction, without any question, was chewing tobacco. I haven't done that in forever. Once in a while, maybe, but nowhere near. But every time I drive by, I'm like, oof. 2141, because the great thing about tobacco is like right after a meal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. You just
The
put that
best.
pinch into your cheek and gum.
Nice cigarette. Or like right when you wake up in the morning, go outside, have a nice cigarette. It's the best. That's why I can't smoke them anymore. Or in your car in traffic. I look at people smoking, I'm envious. But I know I had to stop.
Never got into the cigarette deal.
Oh, my gosh. The greatest.
Now, I love a good cigar, but I really only do cigar at three places. Okay. Indoors, outdoors. No. Golf, beach, and barbecue.
Yeah, it's a tough one to be smoking in around the house. It just stinks, and then it takes forever. A cigarette's like 5 minutes.
So
You're
I
outside,
basically go
come
like,
right back in.
yeah, smoke Leon Cersei's cigar. You can get that thing done in 5 hours.
Yeah.
And so I go 6 months a year without smoking them, basically, during football season. How many tight ends and wide receivers are we going to carry on the roster this season? I say 4. In my opinion, the 4 tight ends are set. With Strange and Quentin Morris and the 2 rookies, Bo Kircher and Koziel. Wide receivers, this will be fascinating. I mean, the 4. And the 4 are Brian Thomas Jr., Parker Washington, and Jacoby Myers. And I'm going to say Josh Cameron. But again, he's on the shelf right now. And look what happened a year ago. Before the season even began, you knew it was over for Caleb Ransaw, and it was over for linebacker Jalen McLeod. So, I'm not going to say that that's the case. I have no idea what's going on health-wise with Josh Cameron, but I didn't see him out there this week. My guess he's the number 4, and it's a battle for number 5. I mean, and Travis is going to be a part of it, but I think he'll be listed as a DB. I did see in the roster they handed out, though, this week, is he listed at both places? Travis Hunter's listed as a wide receiver. Let's see if he's listed as a DB. He is. Okay, so he's listed on here at both positions. It's going to be a battle for that 5th spot. Austin Trammell, Tim Jones, special teams guys. Could it be someone who's young who does a nice job? They have 5 undrafted wide receivers right now in camp, including a guy very small in stature, and Michael Wortham, who's wearing 0. Saw him. He caught my eye a little bit. Again, a smaller guy. C.J. Williams, Brady Boyd, Ben Patterson, and Trevor Pena. So I think what you're looking for there is a special teams guy. So I'm going to go 4 and 5, maybe 6. But you got to remember the Travis Hunter equation. 4010 Ballou, the last original member of Lynyrd Skynyrd band was Gary Rosington. He wanted them to continue beyond his death. Okay. Of course, he was part of the Rosington Collins band that formed after the plane went down. 5498, Johnny is making money off his brother. Johnny who? Who are we talking about here? Who's Johnny? Johnny Manziel. Johnny, I don't know. I don't know what you mean there. 8446, there's no one I'd ever consider my family members, buddy. I saw there, but I would make a full, man, I don't know what you asked me about the defensive line, and that was your response. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Sometimes being sober doing this show is hard. 35-25, Ballou, with Myers and Washington starting on the field from the start of the season, do you think Lawrence's numbers will automatically be higher? Take the over on 16 numbers. I don't know what the total is right now. Wasn't it like 21 last year, 21 and a half touchdowns? I do. I think he needs to be a better red zone quarterback. But I think there's going to be an opportunity here for some mismatches, even with the young Koziel at 6'7". Also, deep balls. That's a big emphasis. Is there going to be an opportunity here where, Trevor throws some longer touchdown passes? I also really do believe that they are going to run the football, and there's going to be more situations within the red zone that this team has an opportunity to get better. It was not a great red zone football team a year ago. Let me see this as we head to the break. We know that Trevor threw 29 touchdowns last year. How many rushing touchdowns? They had 22. Okay. Trevor had 9, 7 for ETN, 5 for Tootin. And then you had one for Brian Thomas Jr. So 22 rushing touchdowns last year. Jacksonville did have. All right, some good questions. Many more rolling in as well. Unfortunately, do not have time for them tonight, but I will remind you, get them in on Monday. And Monday's going to be a blast because it'll be another OTA, an opportunity to get out to the Miller Electric Center and tell you exactly what did take place during the Jaguars practice.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Hey guys, Prosser here. When you need new windows or doors, you want high-end quality without the middleman markup. That's exactly why I'm telling you about Cash Building Material. Same premium materials, same beautiful finishes, but at a price that actually makes sense for your home. No subcontractors, no runaround, just their own experienced crews who treat your house like it's theirs. Get a quote today, thank me tomorrow. For windows and doors, search Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
There's no doubt that we were in good hands when our son's shoulder and hip issues were diagnosed quickly by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. No matter what your orthopedic issue is, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take a look. You'll be glad you did.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership costs. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's New York Pizza. If dinner seems expensive, come grab a pizza that's hot, fresh, and affordable. Feed the whole family without spending a ton. Tony D's New York Pizza. Easy, quick, and always a good call.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia from Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, his adorable chessman sidekick.
There are two things you want to ask when getting a custom polymer garage floor coating. Will it be done right? And will it be priced right?
And just how charming is their mascot?
No. At Checkmate, our small specialized install teams follow a strict 29-point installation checklist
to ensure the highest quality results at a price you can afford.
A Checkmate polyaspartic floor can be customized in dozens of colors and sweeps up sparkling clean in just seconds.
No need to wear your shoes in the garage to avoid tracking dirt back into the house.
The quality you expect?
Check. A price that might surprise you.
Check. A floor you just can't wait to show your friends? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
Hi, Frank Frangie here, inviting you to join my wife and me June 22nd of 2027 as we experience the food, wine, and culture of iconic Italy with Colette. Our journey takes us to historic cities and enchanting medieval towns. We'll enjoy a wonderful 7-night stay in the Montecatini Term A famous resort and spa town nestled in the heart of the rolling hills of Tuscany. Visit the cultural treasures of Florence, Pisa, and lovely Lucca. Along the way, we'll discover the food, wine, and old world charm, and even have a special chef-led cooking class. This and so much more. Colette handles the details, flights, hotels, meals, and the local experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Don't miss joining my wife and me in Italy. Now, to learn more, visit 1010XL.com or call Colette at 800-581-8942.
Come away with
That's 1010XL.com or call Colette at 800-581-8942.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Warren Zevon, just talking about Leonard Skinner. They're all gone. How about Warren Zevon, man? He's been gone for quite some time as well. What a character back in the day. Johnny apparently was Johnny Van Zant. So that one went 5-0 on me. Got a bunch of you coming in him. When I said Johnny's making money off his brother, that came from the 54.96. A lot of you bounced in on that. So there you have it. I just looked up Trevor's numbers. Last year it was 21.5 for touchdowns. Any idea what it is this year? Just guess. Projected touchdowns for Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, what the over-under is?
Yeah. Last year was 21.5.
I'm going to say 25.5.
Exactly.
Wow, nice.
You nailed it. I would play the over. Passing yards. Boy, 37.50. Yeah. I mean, they're going to run it more, but I don't know. I don't know what else to to say. If they run it more and you pass it less, that's a good thing. That means you're winning games. So we'll see what happens when it all comes together. Hey, the Blue Crab House are open right now. I'm actually going to have dinner out there tomorrow night. Looking forward to it with the GF and some good friends. And remember that they're open earlier on Sunday. Okay, they extend their hours on Sunday. Of course, they're closed on Monday, but they're open each and every day up until 9 o'clock. Sunday, 12 until 9 at the Blue Crab House. All right, for those of you who are watching the hockey game tonight, I've got kind of mixed feelings on this one. I would love to see another game on Sunday. I don't believe they'll start the Stanley Cup final on Monday. On Sunday, unless something's happening I'm not aware of. But
they don't have like a date already set?
No.
Oh, wow.
They haven't announced it yet. So I'd like to have that game on Sunday night, but coming up here in about 25 minutes or so will be game 5. Carolina up 3-1 here in the best of 7 against Montreal. We know all the storylines here. All right, the great Rod Brindamore should be a Hall of Famer, including wrapping up his career with Carolina. Carolina's been very successful. They've stumbled in this round to make it back into the Stanley Cup final, and they're 1 win away from being able to do that tonight. Vegas sits and waits, and, of course, that's an incredible story. If you consider, moving on from Bruce Cassidy, which really disappointed me because I'm a big fan of Butch, but going to John Tortorella, and he ignited that organization. Since they brought him in, he is 19-4 with a tie. And he's got a chance to win a Stanley Cup once again. Of course, he did it with Tampa back in 2004? When the Lightning won their first Stanley Cup. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you to Rick Alexander of the Alexander Law Practice, trying to sort through the mess that is the world of college football and collegiate athletics, for that matter. JJ, have a fun weekend.
You too.
You
Be
folks,
safe.
Yes, you folks as well. If you're out there, have a good one. As always, if you're drinking, have at it. But please get yourself a designated driver. Monday's going to be a blast. The Jaguars have an OTA at the Miller Electric Center. I'll tell you all about it at 6 o'clock right here on 92.5 FM.
There's Dan Hicken.
I've reached and influenced more people than anyone in the history of this planet.
And there's Jeff Prosser.
Simplicity is the hallmark of genius.
And together, they're The Drill.
Well, we all know that those two are thick as thieves.
Mornings on 1010XL.